everyone, I'm very glad to meet you again, and I would like to introduce you to the lesson, which consists of two parts. The first part is devoted to the word formation, and we are going to have a look how to form negative verbs with the help of prefixes, and the second part is related to the phrasal verbs with make. The lesson objectives are to answer the question, what is a prefix? To look at negative prefixes this, miss, and an, and to form negative verbs with the help of these prefixes. In the second part of the lesson, we'll learn phrasal verbs make out, make for, make up, and make up for. What do these words have in common? Dislike, undress, and misfire. Yes, you are right. They all have a prefix. These prefixes are dis, un, and miss. So what is a prefix? A prefix is a part of a word that comes before the root of a word. A prefix can be added to a word to change the meaning. The prefixes dis, un, and miss are used to form verb opposites. That's why we say that they are negative prefixes. The meaning of the prefix dis is opposite of. Like, dislike. That means to not like someone or something. For example, I have always disliked that feeling of fullness after a large meal. Appear, disappear. If people or things disappear, they go somewhere where they cannot be seen or found. Or another example is to no longer exist. I can't find my keys anywhere. They have completely disappeared. Obey and disobey. To refuse to do something that you are told to do. For example, half of the city's drivers tend to disobey laws and behave poorly. The meaning of the prefix miss is wrongly. For example, interpret, misinterpret. That means to not understand or explain something correctly. For example, his speech has been misinterpreted by the press. Another example is conduct and misconduct. That means to manage the activities of an organization badly. The aid program was misconducted, resulting in large quantities of food failing to reach the famine victims. Another example, behave, misbehave. That means to behave badly. Jack was always getting in trouble for misbehaving at school. The meaning of the prefix an is not. For example, cover and its opposite is uncover, which means to discover something secret or hidden or remove something covering something else. For example, it will be interesting to see what this investigation uncovers. Another example, tie and untie, which means to unfasten a knot or something tied. I had to help her untie her shoelaces. One more example of this prefix is do and undo, which means to remove the effects of something that happened earlier or to unfasten something that is closed or tied. He undid the top button of his shirt and loosened his tie. Now let us make the verbs negative using the negative prefixes dis, miss, and an. You have to choose the correct prefix. Are you ready to start? Okay, let us begin. Agree, disagree. Inform, misinform. Fasten, unfasten. Use, misuse. Connect, disconnect. Identify, misidentify. Allow, disallow, bend, unbend, lead, mislead, couple, uncouple, and approve, disapprove. You should remember that there is not a real rule which prefix to use. You just have to learn each one separately. That's why English is a bit hard. But if you have enough practice, you will have no problems with these prefixes. We are moving on to the second part of our lesson, phrasal verbs. Now let's remember what is a phrasal verb. A phrasal verb is a verb followed by a preposition or an adverb. The combination creates a meaning different from the original verb alone. And today we are going to look at phrasal verbs make up for, make out, make up, and make for. Let's look at their meaning. The first phrasal verb is make up for. Means to compensate for something or to replace. In Russian we say возмещать, компенсировать. For example, I ruined your t-shirt, but I hope this new one I bought you makes up for it. The phrasal verb make for has the meaning to move towards something, направляться к чему-либо. For example, make for those boots, the storm is approaching. One of the meanings of make up is to invent, выдумывать. For example, he's always making up stories. Another meaning is to forgive someone and be friendly with them again after an argument or disagreement. In Russian we say помириться. For example, we often quarrel, but we always make it up soon after. What about the phrasal verb make out? It means to distinguish, понимать, различать. For example, I can hardly make out what you have written. Another meaning is to fill in, выписывать, например, счет, составлять, например, документ. For example, I need your name to make out the check. That is all for this lesson. Now I hope you know how to make the verbs negative with the help of prefixes this, miss, and how to use the phrasal verbs make for, make up for, make up, and make out. As for your homework, you are to complete the sentences using the correct phrasal verbs, and the second part of the home task is to compose 6 sentences with any of the verbs disagree, misinform, unfasten, misuse, disconnect, misidentify, disallow, unbend, mislead, uncouple, and disapprove. Please send your homework to your teacher before the next lesson. And our next lesson we are going to have at the Zoom conference. My Zoom ID is 616-600-9251. I wish you good luck. Thank you for your attention and goodbye.